As you heard on the show yesterday, the town of Normal has plans to use increased revenue from sales and property taxes to fund a few projects that town officials say are long overdue. That includes a skate park. 2 tennis courts at Fairview Park were converted to give skateboarders their own space over 20 years ago. The town has scheduled a public meeting for Thursday, February 15th. That's to gauge public feedback on what a new, reimagined skate park would look like. Town of Normal Parks and Recreation Director Doug Damery says much of the equipment at the skate park has become rusted and is in bad shape.
First of all, it's kind of a semi-permanent installation. So it was an existing tennis court that was converted to a skate park by putting equipment on top of it. So you have ramps and you know, some different implements that skaters like to use, but many of those ramps were metal and they're rusting, and even the newer stuff, which is, you know, at least a minimum of 15 years old, I believe, as well, is still aging quite a bit. And so we're looking at really updating everything to, you know, the current standards. I mean, make it a lot more exciting, a lot more fun, a lot more interactive. Previously, there was a fence around it because back in the 2000s when they were doing this, they were just like, yeah, we want to keep this enclosed. We like the idea of a way more open concept. So we'll be looking at doing that.
Explain, what do you mean by a more open concept? Just removing the fencing?
At least in my experience, a lot of what skate parks look like were old tennis courts. Didn't take down the fencing, just put the ramps in the middle, and that way we kind of keep the skaters caged up, you know, and separated from everything else. And it kind of also allowed you to lock them off, if not let them be used in case. But that's not, I mean, that was more of a negative stereotype, and I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that there's all sorts of different types of people that skate now, and it's a much more acceptable type of recreation activity, and you know, we want this to be an inviting place, a place where people are going to really embrace it and enjoy it and have fun doing, you know, the activities that they like to do.
What changed the culture around skaters?
Yeah, I think that just after over time, you realize that it's you know, before it used to be, oh yeah, it's the kids that are going to vandalize and do things that they shouldn't be doing. And I don't think that that's the perception anymore. I think it's become much more mainstream. And so I just don't think that stigma is there as much anymore. And if it is, it's not true, you know? And so I think it's just something that we, you know, let's program to it, you know, let's open this up and make it, like I said, inviting to everybody.
Is it also perhaps an admission that the fences really won't make a difference?
That's a good point too. Yes, it wouldn't make much.
Skaters are going to skate, right?
Right. So, and if they're not skating in the skate park, they're skating somewhere else, which has always been sometimes a challenge. When you've got skaters skating where they shouldn't be, it becomes a danger or hazard to pedestrians potentially in an area where they may be skating. You know, we want them to skate where it's meant to be skated, and hopefully in a place where they're going to be attracted to and want to skate, as opposed to where they maybe shouldn't.
Skateboarding became an Olympic sport in 2020. Do you feel that has helped make it more mainstream, or did you see the growth prior to that? I
think for sure that, and I mean, obviously Tony Hawk just over the years has made it much more mainstream. You realize Tony Hawk isn't the Red Bull, you know. I mean, I think he's a pretty mainstream guy personally. I mean, it seems like a really down to earth and you know, normal guy. You know, he's not that doesn't have that stereotype attached to him anymore. And I think too, yeah, the Olympic sport making it professional, or I guess it's amateur in the Olympics, right? But we know how that goes.
Right.
Certainly has made it much more mainstream and accepted by the, you know, a larger population.
Has there been clamoring in the town for an upgrade, a replacement essentially for the skateboard park?
I've heard from a number of individuals over the years, just, hey, you know, what's going on with this skate park? I mean, I don't think the clamoring's been there because it's been there, you know, existed. So I don't think that there was as much, hey, we need to replace it. Now, I have heard individuals reach out to me and say, man, this is really looking rough.
That was Parks and Recreation Director for the town of Normal, Doug Damery. He spoke with WGLT's Eric Stock. The town's proposed budget sets aside $450,000 for the skate park. Damery says the town plans to have the new park open by fall. The community input meeting will be February 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. That's at the Community Activity Center in Normal. 2 pro skaters will be there to provide input.